Hey, thank you very much, Gary. Appreciate it. It is 8:35, brand new month, the first day of December, and thank goodness it's a Friday. 2023, I'm John Reid, and we're glad you're with us here on News Radio WRVA. And I'm hoping to see a lot of you up here at the Trump Winery because we've been broadcasting from the beautiful tasting room, which is a relatively new building. I'm trying to remember what year this place opened. They moved the tasting room up to the top of this hill, and it has the most spectacular view of the trees surrounding Charlottesville. I mean, really, the sunrise a little bit ago. I just posted some pictures from the sun coming up this morning here at the Trump Winery outside of Charlottesville. So you can join us for this special Read on the Road broadcast from the Trump Winery. At about 11 o'clock, they open the doors, and then we'll be with the main guy who oversees the vines and produces the wine here. He's going to walk us through the top producing wines that the Trump Winery is putting out this year. So you'll get to taste those. It's $50. And last time we did the show up here, I walked out having finished the program, and there were 50 people standing at the door waiting to come in. So I hope you'll join us here at the Trump Winery. And a special treat this morning, we get to talk to the guy who runs the place, who owns the place, who is the son of the former president, Eric Trump. And he is with us this morning to talk about the Trump Winery and its success. Eric, thanks for coming on.
Hey, good morning, John. You're one of the most beautiful places on planet Earth. It's literally one of my favorite places in the world. I'm jealous right now.
It is a beautiful view, and I appreciate everybody on the staff here has been terrific, which I would expect. I've had the privilege of going to a number of Trump properties, and every single one of them is top-notch. Everything's clean. Everybody's nice. It's not political. It's friendly, welcoming to everybody. How did you all wind up investigating a winery as a property and then settle on this great spot?
Yeah, well, the house was owned by John Patricia Kluge. They were one of the wealthiest families in the world, and it was having some serious problems. There was a big bankruptcy, and we saw the house, and we fell in love. My father's always been great with unbelievable estates and great real estate, and he saw the house, and he knew the taste of John. And sure enough, I was on a plane about 30 minutes later, and went down, took a look at it, and kind of the rest is history. All of a sudden, we were in the wine business, but we've grown into the largest vineyard east of the Mississippi. We win absolutely everything. Our sparklings, we just won San Francisco, and it's kind of funny because obviously being on one side of the political spectrum, you win, gold medal out of 900 champagnes and sparkling wines in San Francisco. People's heads, at least a portion of their heads explode. But we've won every single award. We've taken every single trophy. We've invested just tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars into obviously Virginia and what we're doing there, and we're creating some of the best wines anywhere on the planet. And we really, I think, have been at the tip of the spear of putting Virginia, center, as one of the great wine producing regions anywhere on Earth, anywhere in the world. I mean, we're beating France, we're beating California, we're beating Oregon and Washington. I mean, we're beating these states. Virginia's doing it, and we've proven that it can be done, and we're doing some awesome things on the property. And aside from that, it's one of the most spectacular hotels and just properties and views, as you just said, that you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah. 30 years ago when people were talking about Virginia wines, they said, oh, they're so good, and people rolled their eyes. It does seem like something has happened to up the game here. What would you identify? Is it bringing in the right horticulturists? It's the right people to fine-tune the actual distillation of the wine? What would you identify?
Sure. Listen, I think it's a lot of investment. It's a lot of focus. Virginia happens to be on the exact same parallel as France. A lot of people don't realize it. It's one of the reasons we make some of the best sparklings anywhere on Earth, and again are beating France in many categories in that regard. But it takes investment. It takes extreme passion, and we went in there and we had one goal. And John, this, you've stayed at so many of our properties, but we always have one goal, which is to be the absolute best. Be the best hotel in the city, that'd be the best golf property in a country or in the world. And that's what we wanted. We saw this piece of land. We said we want to be the best vineyard anywhere in the United States. And certainly we're leading the charge on the East Coast. There's no question about that. And we've done great things. And you mentioned tasting room before. I mean, it's people absolutely love it. They sit out on these Adirondack chairs overlooking the Blue Ridge Mountains, overlooking thousands of acres that we own out there, and it's truly just one of the great kind of comfortable spots. But the food is amazing, the wine's amazing, the views are amazing, and people have really just come to love it.
Yeah. The last time we were out here, and I got a chance to meet you, I brought a Democrat friend of mine, and I said, I'm going to take you to Charlottesville. Of course, they think Charlottesville is the People's Republic of Charlottesville, so they thought they were safe. And they were really mad with me about bringing them to the Trump Winery. And at the end of the evening, though, they said, I got to acknowledge Eric was super nice, and the place is perfection. So do you think that the politics has spoiled some of this, or do you find running this operation that people are able to put politics aside and acknowledge what a great property it is and what a great product you're putting out?
Well, it'd be my hope that they obviously could, right? I mean, we cater to as many Democrats at our properties as probably Republicans, and obviously we have a connotation because of my father and what he believes in, what he stands for, and frankly what our family stands for on one side. But at the same time, I mean, we are deeply committed to running the best properties on earth, and that's what we do. And I hope your friend left there thinking that I didn't have horns coming out of the top of my head, John. That's certainly my intent, but. No, it's listen. We cater to everyone in our properties, and we love everybody. And frankly, hopefully we can show them what we're about, and frankly our philosophy for this country, which is making the country great again. We took a property that was totally defunct, that was going into bankruptcy, that wasn't producing hardly any wine, that was in deep financial problems. They had banks all over them. They weren't a great symbol of Virginia, and we turned that around over the course of a couple of years. And we've as I just said before, we're probably the leading wine producer on the East Coast of the United States right now, and producing some of the best wines anywhere on earth. And it took vision, it took dedication, it took a hell of a lot of hard work, and a lot of love and a lot of passion, and family involvement. And I think that's a great recipe for the United States of America. And I hope we could see the same thing for our country on a much larger scale.
Yeah. Before I let you go, and I appreciate you joining us this morning, how are you and your family doing? I got to tell you, as an observer, I'm a partisan observer, but as an observer, it just makes me sick to see what you're going through. And I think a lot of it is really unfair.
John, I'll never forget when I was right there next to my father when Hillary called to concede that night. And 12 minutes later, the Washington Post did an article, which is it was entitled, "This is when the impeachment of Donald Trump began." This is what they wanted to do the entire time. They didn't even give the guy a shot. I mean, he'd won the election. She conceded. 12 minutes later, an article comes out that, this is when, we start going after Trump, and we start going after him viciously. I was the guy that got the Russia phone calls, which is, Trump's colluding with Russia with secret servers in the basement of Trump Tower, which was totally nonsense, which was a made-up lie. It was paid for by other candidates. I mean, unfortunately, we're numb to it. And when you're leading in the polls, my father is at 68% yesterday against a Republican primary. He's beating Joe Biden in every single poll right now. They are petrified. What do? They weaponize government. They come after him. They come after my father. They come after every single one of us. I mean, they're relentless. They will stop at nothing. They would love to imprison him. And listen, it's deeply dangerous. Because you better believe that there are people on the other side who would do the exact same thing back to them, which is scary. It's not who we should be as a country. We should not weaponize government. We should not go after our political adversaries. And again, it's gross, but it doesn't matter. We're going to win. He's doing great. I'm proud of him. He's the greatest father in the world. He's a remarkable, remarkable man. He needed this job like a hole in the head, and he does it out of pure passion. But I love him to death. I'm proud of him, and I will be by his side every step of the way.
Yeah. Well, you're a great leader, too, and I appreciate you opening the Trump Winery to us. Eric Trump, who manages and owns this property and has really turned it around. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Sean.
All right. We appreciate the chance to talk to Eric Trump, and I hope you will join us here at the Trump Winery this afternoon. The doors open at 11, and then at 12 o'clock we're going to have the tasting of the Trump wine. And bring your Democrat friends. See, I think this relationships are formed over wine. We can change some opinions over wine, or at least, calm down some of the hostility. Maybe. Am I just being hopeful here? I think it'll be a very successful day. It's 8:45 on this Friday morning. We're back with more in a moment on News Radio WRVA.